Alright, we're making a video on this because this has definitely become a topic that I never thought would ever be a topic. Should Destiny 3 not include PvP? Every now and then, guys, I get a comment on one of my YouTube videos. It's usually some guy saying how Bungie has ruined PvE for the sake of PvP players. As someone who looks at Sandbox updates every single time they roll out, for the past 6 months, most, if not all, Sandbox updates that have been coming out have been separated. Matter of fact, when you look through the Sandbox details, the patch notes themselves, they specifically outline what has been adjusted for PvP and what has been adjusted for PvE. So as far as having this separation of Sandbox, that has already been accomplished in Destiny 2, for those that didn't know. Now with that being said, let's talk about a Forbes article this morning by Paul Tassi. It's linked in the description below, and the title is, "What if Bungie abandons PvP and Crucible altogether for Destiny 3?" Now this subject actually got brought up because Fireteam Chat this past week was talking about it. You see, the rumor is that Destiny 3 is considering dropping PvP and traditional Crucible, and that they are instead looking at something that works potentially like the Division's Dark Zone, a blend of PvP and PvE, essentially Gambit. Boy, wouldn't you love that? Destiny 3, boys, Gambit on the horizon. There will be no pre-orders on the horizon if you do that shit, I can promise you. But these rumblings, as Paul Tassi stated here, have been bolstered by the fact that Bungie has recently seen the departure of two high-profile team members, John Wisniewski and Josh Hamrick, both senior gameplay designers who spent a lot of time in the Sandbox balancing Crucible. Yes, that does bring out some concern, okay? I would have never actually given these rumors any thought if it wasn't for these two guys leaving. Another concerning thing was actually about 6-7 months ago, I noticed that all of the people that worked with like the Crucible Sandbox side of things started to change their titles. They were no longer being known as like the Crucible leads, or in some instances like Crucible Sandbox designer. Instead, their names or their titles actually became like role designers or like role team leads. Something along those lines, kind of funky. Now this morning, after Paul Tassi had actually put up his article, he took a vote in which 2,500 people have voted. It states that Destiny removing PvP to focus solely on PvE would be good or bad. 52% said good, another 48% said bad. Surprisingly enough, this one poll that he did made sense considering the amount of PvE players and PvP players. Heck, if you look just from yesterday, you had almost 600,000 people playing Crucible and 650,000 playing PvE. What I want to bring light to is the fact that there is almost a 50-50 split in the community between PvP players and PvE. But let me flip the question around, because this question, it hurts my heart, boys. Some of my PvE players out there, I love you guys. Why would you want to kill something that we love too? You see, if they ever even came to us, like if Bungie had a summit and they said, hey, listen, we're thinking about cutting out PvE for the next game and just solely focusing on PvP, I would jump and be like, hell no, what are you thinking? I would immediately start throwing tweets out. Not a single NDA would be able to stop me, because at all costs, I would have to stop this evil, which is essentially killing off half your player base there. So is Bungie dropping PvP for Destiny 3? I will say the rumors are alarming, considering that there was a summit this past week. I wasn't present. I don't know what was all said, or even if they went over Destiny 3 stuff to begin with. But this rumor seems to be circulating, and there seems to be things that are occurring that does allude to the fact that PvP may be on its way out, which is a terrible idea. Bungie, I know you want to get the game perfect. This next installment, this next Destiny game is going to be a hard sell to begin with, because number one, it's a whole new Destiny game. Everybody looking forward to regrinding everything again? Yeah, I don't think so. But you got to do it because you got to get away from Activision completely. Even though you've bought the rights to Destiny, everything is still present there on Battle.net and all kinds of other contractual things. I'm sure you're not getting the full revenue cut that you would like, hence why Destiny 3 is still going to be coming. But cutting out PvP, there's a lot of bad ideas, and that has got to be one of the worst ones I can think of. At what point did we decide that we needed to cut out 50% of our game to make the other 50% better? Come on, guys. Hell, you're paying a lot of money already. As it is, you're buying the game, you're playing the annual passes. You suddenly think that your money is not worth a perfect, well-rounded game for both PvP and for PvE? Bungie could do it. Bungie could make a perfect game. They can, and they got to this next game. It's the only way it's going to sell, and it's going to directly reflect on their reputation, more so than any other game before. They're self-publishing studio now. It is all on them. And I'm not going to lie to you, these things have been concerning me because I've been hearing rumors that Destiny 3 is being pushed to us sooner than we thought, hence why they may be dropping something like PvP, and that is the last thing I want. But if you care about the success of Destiny, it should be the last thing that you want too. I play with all kinds of players. I play with dedicated PvE players and dedicated PvP players, but there is many times that those dedicated PvE players will load up into a comp game with me and we'll jam out a few games and vice versa. It's funny as hell taking a PvP only player into a raid. Most of the times they're blown away. They're like, wow, this is amazing. And those PvE players that we used to take back into Trials of Osiris as well as Trials of the Nine were so happy the first time they got a Doctrine of Passing, or were so happy when they first got to the Lighthouse. If Bungie decides to get rid of PvP, it will be the worst decision they could make going into this next game. Nothing would kill the hype. And I'm not saying that the PvE players out there wouldn't be hyped for it, but I would see players leave by the droves to go play other games. And to go play what? That's the other side of things, fellas. PvP players like myself, I mean, I play everything, but I definitely play a little more PvP than PvE. Where do you guys want to send me? You want to send me to Fortnite? Huh? Come on, man, don't do that to us. If I wanted to play BRs all day, I would. But there's a reason why I still play Destiny, because it still has that classic, traditional, arena-style PvP. Something that Bungie has been perfecting for years. And even though there's many complaints, and that's the thing, there's a lot of people that like to get on the internet, Twitter, YouTube, you can name it, and they complain. It's really funny to see that they still jump into PvP just about every single day. So guys, that is my thoughts. I think it's a terrible idea to get rid of PvP going into Destiny 3. Are the rumors concerning? Yes, more so now than ever. Getting rid of those guys like Josh Hamrick and John Wisniewski, very concerning there, as well as seeing the titles of many Bungie employees changing to other titles. No one's even called Crucible leads or Crucible whatever anymore. But I will remain optimistic. I believe that Bungie is looking to bring in 2 new Sandbox leads that are just gonna nail it. That's what I'm hoping for. For my dedicated PvE players out there that are wanting this for the sake of your side of the game to get better, I ask you not to cut yourself short. Paying a lot of money for this game, and me personally, I want perfection on both sides. And seeing as the Sandbox has been tweaked for both PvE and PvP separately for the past 6-7 months, it is definitely possible. Maybe a little more difficult, but it's possible. So going forward, I don't want Destiny 3 to cut off any side of the game. I want it to perfect everything, because honestly guys, the only way Destiny 3 will sell is if it's the perfect game. There can't be a botched launch like Destiny 1 or Destiny 2, especially like Destiny 2's. It will have to be perfect. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.